I'm ready for whatever.
What we're doing it now. So
We're doing it now.
it's
We're
on.
recording now. We're doing this now. Right.
This is what people will see, and this is what they will think of us, which is fine.
See, that's why it's funny because we're not in the same house, so you can't punch me.
Today.
Brotherly love.
All right, let's go ahead and have our official introductions. Okay.
All right,
So you would be the older brother.
Josh. Yeah. Yep. Josh Murphy.
And I'm
And
Palmer,
you
the
are.
younger one.
What was that?
Yeah, fuck it. I'm putting this shit on YouTube. I don't give a shit.
That's all right.
Okay. So we're both from Howell. Grew up, born, raised, basically, in Howell.
Michigan.
Yep. Good times. Great
Good
oldies.
old Michigan.
Hell of a place. I live in Milford now. Josh still lives in Howell. You got love in the background. I've got me. Well, actually, that's Robin's 8th grade field trip.
Yep.
That's my
I'm at
8th
the
grade field
desk
trip.
in the bedroom.
I know. I realized that a second ago. I was looking at love and I was like, wait, do I have?
Yeah, that's the best lighting.
Silhouettes. So, yes, I'm boozing. Um, Start with
Oh man.
our backgrounds in health and fitness.
Well, yours is much lengthier than mine.
So you go first.
Yeah, because I studied business much more than you did. So
So you have
you
that was
kind of
like
nerded out on the whole fitness thing in college, whereas I did not.
no, but
But I do have my CrossFit level one, um,
sports you played, things you like to do, activities.
soccer for years, a little bit of track, a little bit of tennis. You know, the most manly sports that you can think of. Um,
Extra.
um, let's see. Worked with a personal trainer. I would say for a little over 2 years, one on one. Studied it, dabbled in it. Decided to end up going with CrossFit officially for my cert. Just have my level one right now. Working on expanding that. Been dabbling in CrossFit here now for on and off for the last few years, but kind of just been really getting into it this last year. So got the level one in July and been kind of running with it ever since. And then yeah, we've just kind of been talking about all this. So I've been deep diving into the whole fitness realm. You know, especially talking to you. So taking advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, I'd be honored to be the geek. Let's see, my education. Besides the fun reading that I like to do, I have a collection of books hanging out in the corner.
Kelly.
I have Kelly, I have Gardner, I have different sorts, mobility and strength that are obviously new things that I like besides running. Running is my one true love. I went to school at Oakland University in Rochester, Michigan. My degree is in wellness, health promotion, and injury prevention with a focus on exercise science. So not only is the exercise science geek that I absolutely love, but I love the holistic approach to wellness. There's a lot more to it than just what your body is handling, because your mind and everything else, your environment plays a factor. So I like to incorporate other things besides just what is the body doing, because everything else affects everything. And we'll go into that eventually when we get to nature.
It's true. It's true. You'd be like, "Why does my ankle hurt?" He'll be like, "Well, let's start with your elbow." The root problem is you're thinking too much.
Usually. But I've been a runner for many years now. Haven't been running as much lately, but trying to get back to it this year. Want to do my first full. Um, Besides that, I mean, I dabbled in CrossFit before Josh really did, and I never got my cert. I just like to do it. I like to lift heavy things and put weights above my head and do anything that really challenges me. So I like to kind of screw around with that shit, and I love to learn. So that's one of my big things, and that's what I like to share with people. So that's what we like to do.
What I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Well, do you want to share some of our goals for Treign Athletics?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first and foremost is educate. I mean, I know I'm kind of going out of order with what we put down here, but educate is the first one because I mean, there's so much out there. Especially for people like me who love doing it. I love exercising, I love working out, and I love the whole fitness realm. It's not what I studied. I don't. I couldn't name you every muscle in the body. I couldn't tell you how the body works, but at the same time, just the amount of information is overwhelming, and a lot of people get confused, and a lot of people have opinions, and a lot of it is opinion based, but it's also evolving, and it's evolving rapidly. So keeping track of all that and keeping on top of it, that in itself is a full-time job. So having partnering with somebody like you and creating a business to help people in that sense, sort through all of the mud and the muck, and just clarify what's good for you, what's bad for you. Because the problem is that something that may be good for somebody may not be good for somebody else. So it's not like a one size fits all program. Like here, when we come out with training, like here it is. Everybody lift, X amount over their head, X amount of times, X times a week. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So just clarifying that in making something better is what we're after.
And to go with the education part, it's we want to make sure people understand the information as well. So, I mean, there's sources out there, but we want to have a discussion with people. Um, I will ask questions when someone asks me something and see what they understand, and how can I apply it to them. So how do I make things relevant? And then just being able to understand it in that realm also helps people have information that's useful. Because one thing that I like, that's kind of a mini motto, is the fact that information without understanding, it's useless. Because I can throw a bunch of stuff at you, but if you don't understand it, what can you do with it? So if I'm using big words to describe, so a lot of people know what tennis elbow is, but if I come at you and you're saying your elbow hurts, and I say something about lateral epicondylitis, you have no idea what I'm talking about. It makes no
I have
sense.
tennis elbow.
No. Just letting people know. There's pain in my elbow. Usually it's on the outside of my elbow. Okay? That's when the lateral part comes in, and then I can explain the rest of it for you. But for the most part, if I can refer to it as something that people know, there you go. Or if I can put something in the context of like a deadlift, a common movement that most people actually don't do or don't know how to do properly. Okay, like why do I have to go to the gym and pick up this bar off the ground? But when I ask the question that way, it seems super obvious when I say it that way, because okay, brother here has a 2-year-old kid who's getting larger and larger. Okay, where do you usually have to pick him up from?
The ground.
Oh, so things like that translate, and therefore something becomes more relevant when it applies to something in your life or something that you hold dear, kind of thing.
Right.
So, but I mean, we also, with my degree in the wellness health promotion, it's part of making these lasting changes. We don't need fads. We don't need fad exercise programs like P90X that people tend to go with for a short period, and then afterwards, what do they do? or nutrition, where it's a 30-day fix, a 90-day fix, a 15-day fix, a 2-day fix. Like, it doesn't matter. Anything that says it's a fix basically is just usually not good. So we want
Lose
long
30
term.
pounds in 20 days.
Exactly.
Just take the pill.
It's steady progress. We want lifelong changes. We're looking at behavior changes in any sort of way. Um, and those are going to be the positives. So that's really what our goal is. And we ask so much. Usually, we will ask people all the time, and we'll ask you basically when you're done listening to this, guys, is to give us feedback. What kind of questions you have for us? Is the fact that we want to know what's important to you, and we want to help clarify things that may not be so clear. Because the health and fitness industry, let me tell you, does not like to make things super clear. Because then they start to lose money when people understand how to basically screw you over. There's not exactly when people say, "Oh, you're in health and wellness," like, "Oh, it must be kind of fun, kind of nice." Well, when you look at the statistics, it's not the greatest thing, and those are something that we kind of want to try and impact. I mean, when you hear all the time about the obesity race, you're talking about diabetes and things like that. I mean, they're not super. They're super complicated bodily functions. I mean, the physiology behind these things are more complicated, but the little things that you have to do aren't super complicated. It's things like diet and exercise. And we want to help make those as simple and understandable as possible for people. Well, I'd like to emphasize the communication part between people, actually. Not between, and not between like us or between the health and fitness realm. It's between the people that we're trying to reach and that we do end up reaching and us. I mean, we want people to reach out to us. We want to hear what's on your mind. I mean, that's the point of having a conversation, a discussion. Obviously, if someone's just going to go ahead and write, I mean, stupid comments, I mean, to put it really blatantly and politely, I mean, we're just going to disregard and move on and delete and so forth. Because, yeah, I get it. We're not the know-it-alls or anything like that, but we have an understanding that we need to keep learning and we will keep learning. Um, Anybody who tells you that they know everything knows nothing because they need to keep learning. The best in anyone's field is always constantly learning. But the point is, if we don't know what you're thinking and what's on your mind and what interests you, what are you concerned about, or what don't you understand, we can't help clarify completely if we don't hear from you. It's the same thing when your teacher told you to raise your hand in class and ask a question. No question is a stupid question. If you shoot us an email, drop us a comment anywhere on our Instagram, our Facebook, our Twitter. I mean, you can hit up our personal emails. It doesn't really matter. We just want that to be given to us. I mean, you don't have to put it out on social media if you're worried about someone thinking it's a stupid question and writing stuff about it. Shoot us an email. No one sees them besides us. I mean, we'll answer the question. We won't attach any names to them. I'm willing to bet somebody has the same question you do.
I mean, it goes right back to the fact that there's nothing really in the fitness industry that's like a one size fits all. You may have some guy listening who's a power lifter, and his questions may be totally different from the mom down the street who's got 4 kids who just wants to learn to have exercise the right way with preventing injury and getting more energy and performing functional movements better. There's going to be so many. There's so many different questions that us just putting stuff out there. There's no way we can cover it all, and there's certain things we may miss or not emphasize because we're not thinking about it because we're thinking about the last few questions that somebody asked. So it just makes sense to accept all this feedback and put stuff together that we know people are looking for.
Something as you go to the doctor. I mean, you gotta ask
Yeah,
questions.
he's not going to take you through med school on one visit. He's going to educate you with the stuff that you ask about.
Sure. And plus, he's gonna only tell you something that's concerning what you want. And if you don't express what you want, then how do you get that covered? So,
Yeah, right. And I mean, he's in a similar industry, so he's constantly learning. He didn't just go to med school and that's it. I mean,
anybody in
medicine.
the health profession has what are called called CEUs, or
Continuing.
continuing education units, credits, CECs, CEUs. Um, we have them as part of our certifications. Having to keep up as a wellness practitioner or as a personal trainer, physical therapist. I work at a PT clinic part time too. So all the athletic trainers, the physical therapists, the PTAs, they all have continuing education to keep up and to keep up in the field, because otherwise you lag behind and it's constantly evolving stuff. You don't keep up with it, then basically your out of date information becomes useless. So that has to be up to date. So I mean, it's the same thing that we'll do. I mean, not only for our certifications, but just because it's something that we care about, and we care about helping people. So if we're not continuing to keep up with things and try and learn, then what use are we?
Boom.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and show them your newly found T-shirt. Since
Yeah.
they have our own in. We do rock our own apparel. I just got home from work, so.
Yeah, he didn't get his yet. It's all good though.
So he's got mine. That's it. Any questions, you guys? Feel free to shoot us a line.
Team Treign at trainathletics.com.
Yep, we've got that one. I mean, if you want to talk to either one of us directly, my email is just paul@trainathletics.com.
Mine's Josh at trainathletics.com.
We try to keep it simple for you guys. If not, hit us on Facebook. It's Treign Athletics Ltd. You can hit us on Instagram, Team Treign, Twitter, it's Treign Athletics. We like to have some fun. You can tell the bottle to my right that I've been sipping on.
See, but that's the best part though, because then you got to check out the blog, because he comes up with some pretty magnificent knowledge bombs to drop on you. So
a lot of those will just be rants. We do have series that we will write on. I mean, right now it's just kind of throwing some stuff out there. I always have thoughts. Josh has questions, and usually that's how he wants me to do something. Is he asks me something, and I have to go off it. He'll be doing some writing, but he's hesitant. He's not as fond of it as I am, because I grew up writing.
Writing is just, yeah, I can do it. It's just not a passion unless I'm like in the moment. You can just sit down for 5 minutes. You're like, hey, I just had this little rant. Check it out, and I'm reading like 5 pages worth of shit.
No, I keep it short because nobody wants to read anything. So, but
you get it.
Let us know. We'll have another one coming out next week. Dogs are barking. I gotta go take to them. So, guys, thanks for checking us out.